This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back. It is time for another edition of Money Monday with Foster Financial. And joining me is their Vice President, Caleb Doan. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm like, wait a minute, it's a Monday.
Right, exactly.
Monday brain. So, Caleb, let's get started by talking about the benefits of having a financial advisor. I know that sometimes when people manage their own funds, they're like, oh, I have it taken care of. But really, they need someone to assist them. So kind of talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are some people who do a really wonderful job of managing their own finances, and there are people who can do a great job at that over their entire retirement. But one of the situations that I see where it could be beneficial to establish a relationship with an advisor is when people are kind of in their mid or later years in retirement, and one of the spouses is the one who manages pretty much all of the finances. So maybe there's an example where there's a husband and a wife, they're 75 years old, and the husband has managed the finances for the last 50 years that they've been married.
Right.
And maybe he even manages his wife's IRA, his wife's Roth IRA, whatever it might be. And of course they work together well as a team. She manages other stuff, in their relationship. He might do a wonderful job managing their finances, and he might be doing great. But one of the things that we kind of take a look at is if, heaven forbid, the husband were to pass away, would the wife be set up kind of in a situation where she would be able to be financially taken care of and be able to avoid some of those big mistakes that people can make when they become widowed. And so I know we've done a couple segments where we talk about when somebody becomes widowed, that's one of the biggest financial events in their entire life. Obviously, it's a massive personal event too, but there are some major financial decisions to make at that point. And if you don't have a relationship with a financial advisor, people can make a lot of mistakes there. Yeah. So I think it can be wise, even if, in that scenario, if the husband still manages his assets, it can be worth setting up a relationship with an advisor ahead of time when they're both alive. That way you have a trusted contact that can help out your spouse in the event that you were to pass away.
And I think the key that you said is in advance, ahead of time, because sometimes people wait until a tragedy happens, and there's so many things that has to be sorted out that may come last on the list, or it may feel overwhelming to them. But having those affairs in order in advance can actually help them have a smoother process. As you said, it's still a personal tragedy, but at least they can have some comfort in knowing that they know where their finances are going and what it's doing. And so what would be the best start time? Because we talk a lot about retirement age, but really you can get started on your financial planning quite early in life, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can get started very, very early. Yeah. If you're somebody who really likes managing your own assets and you do it for kind of you and your spouse, that's a wonderful place to be. And if you establish a relationship with a financial advisor, you don't necessarily have to have the financial advisor manage everything. It could just be a portion of your investments where you just want to start that relationship with the advisor and have somebody that knows about all the finances that can help your spouse in the event that you were to pass away. So the earlier that you can establish that relationship, oftentimes the more trust that you're able to establish with them, you're able to get a little bit more comfortable with having a financial advisor. And then that way you have a lot of time to plan for some of those kind of contingency scenarios. Because as soon as somebody passes away, there are just a significant amount of decisions to make. There are different annuities or 401ks or IRAs, and you have to decide, okay, do I want to take this as an inherited account? Do I want to cash out this entire account?
Right.
And different decisions can have massive tax implications on people. And especially if you're a widow, then all of a sudden you're filing as a single tax filer, your tax brackets can go through the roof. And so making a plan for that stuff ahead of time can really save people in the long run.
Yeah, and speaking of the tax side of things, let's clarify the difference between a financial advisor and a CPA, because sometimes I think those two can be conflated in a sense. So do you all assist on that tax side, or would that be a separate service when it does come to filing the taxes after retirement or during a loss?
Yeah. So we don't file taxes for our clients. We do tax strategizing with
Okay.
our clients, and we'll communicate with their CPAs. We have a lot of CPAs that we work with, and we have kind of open communication with them where there's different tax strategies that we do for the clients, whether it's Roth conversions or qualified charitable distributions or donation strategies. All of these things to try to help the clients save money over the long run in retirement. And we'll communicate with their CPA and say, hey, here's our strategy. This is what we're doing for 2024. Just want to give you a heads up on this. So we kind of like to play that quarterback role where we're communicating with their CPA, communicating with their attorney, their health insurance agent, whatever it might be, just in order to serve the client the best.
Okay. And can you give us a little bit of background as to what a person would need to provide when they do talk to a financial advisor? Because it may feel like, oh my goodness, is this going to be an overwhelming conversation? Do I have to go back and bring all my statements in and know all of my accounts? What does that really look like?
Yeah, so when people come in for a first appointment, we send them a list of documents that could be helpful to bring. Basically, the more stuff you bring, I guess the more specific of a conversation that we can have, right? When we're able to see maybe exactly how the 401k is invested or see what your taxes turned out for last year, we're just able to answer questions a little bit more specifically. But we have plenty of people that come in with not a lot to the first appointment, and they just say, hey, I don't even know where to pull my statement. And that's where we can help them in the financial planning process, help them pull their statements. We'll call on their accounts with the client and make it a really easy process. So don't feel like you have to be an expert to come in. You know, sometimes you don't know what you don't know before you come in the door, and that's where we can really help people.
Okay, awesome. And the biggest takeaway is even if you do your own finances, still get a financial advisor.
Yeah, it can certainly be helpful.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Foster Financial is dedicated to helping women plan for retirement. So we will have their phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.